dun 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 dun. Hello, my fellow YouTubers and subscribers, and welcome to my latest ranking. Yes, I would have got this up sooner, but sorry, just been very busy. Today I'm going to be ranking all 6 movies in the Jurassic Park / World series. I guess it's just the Jurassic series now because there's 6 movies. So yeah, with the release of Jurassic World Dominion having just come out, and I have reviewed the movies, by the way. Well, certainly reviewed Dominion, so check that out. I'm now in a position where I can rank the movies in order of personal preference. As with all my rankings, this is a personal preference, so you don't have to agree with me, but if you do disagree, please be polite down below. Any nastiness or hostility, you will be removed from the comments section. Got that out of the way? Good! Right. And as for Jurassic World Dominion, I'll try not to spoil the movie, but I can't promise anything. So if you haven't seen Dominion, probably best to not watch this video until you've seen it, just to be on the safe side. Or if you just don't give a shit about spoilers, then fine, you know, that's also good. So yeah, this is just my personal opinion, and that's all it is. So, number 6. This is not everybody's choice, but for me, The Lost World. The Lost World sucks. I'm sorry. To me, this is the worst of the series. Quite simply, I know it's going to shock a lot of people, but I just don't like this film. I don't hate it. I don't think it's awful, but it's just not very good. It's really dull. There isn't a huge amount of plot going on. You know, Jeff Goldblum is fine as Ian Malcolm. It's nice to have him back and everything, and the dino action is good when it's there, but it's just a very empty sequel. There's really not much I can remember about it. I've not seen it for a long time, and I just remember being very bored watching it, and I thought the climax in the city was kind of ridiculous, especially with the little kid saying, "Mommy, there's a dinosaur in the backyard." Oh, please. I mean, come on. Spielberg's direction, I mean, it's not great, to be honest. You know, it's one of his weaker directed films, and I don't think the John Williams score is actually all that good, really, for this one, other than the main Jurassic Park theme, of course. I mean, Julianne Moore's fine, but her character's pretty weightless. There's not much to her character, and most of the first half of the movie is them going to try and find her. So the plot is very thin, and I don't know if Vince Vaughn really feels right in a Jurassic Park movie. I don't know if that's just me. I never really bought Vince Vaughn in this film with his character, and he's not necessarily playing a comedic character. I don't really know what his character is or why he was cast, but oh well. I mean, the dinos look kind of cool, and I suppose Pete Postlethwaite, you know, it's worth mentioning him. You know, he's always good, but for me, The Lost World, it's just very dull, very unmemorable. Does not have the intelligence or the insight of the first movie. It just feels like a by the numbers sort of B movie, I guess. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it just has piss poor pacing. So yeah, but I suppose the ending is quite nice with the speech, you know, life will find a way and all of that, but other than that, The Lost World is not worth your time, personally. I mean, if people like this sequel, that's fine, but I just don't care for it, personally. It's not a disaster, it's just boring. Number 5 is everybody's worst, Jurassic Park III. Now, I actually don't mind Jurassic Park 3. I take it over The Lost World just because it's not as long, it's shorter. There's a bit more action and spectacle, and it is a fun ride, but that's all you get. Considering the story is about a family, you would think that the story would have a lot more emotional impact than it does, but no, it's again, a popcorn-munching B-movie with dinosaurs attacking people. That's kind of it, really. The emotional subtext of the story is completely wasted. The Kirby family are, well, they're not that interesting, to be honest. I mean, Eric is kind of cool, actually. I don't mind Eric Kirby as a character. I think he's okay. You know, the parents did get kind of annoying. Well, mainly Tia Leone kept screaming all the time, so that didn't really help. Sam Neill's good. It's nice to see him all the time. And also, how did the character of Billy survive? You know, what? Like, how does he just turn up at the end in the helicopter, or like the people have rescued him or something? As far as we saw, he fell or he drowned or something. But what? Yeah, I didn't understand that. Again, it's short, it's pleasant enough, it'll keep you entertained. But again, you know, Joe Johnston's direction, not very good. it's just a weightless story. They could be so much more. You know, this movie could be so much more than what it is, but it just chose the safe option of, nah, let's just throw a load of dino action in there, and let's just, you know, make it a 90-minute romp, you know, which is all well and good, but not good enough. At best, the movie's mediocre. It's passable, like it's passable enough, but it's not very good. Number 4. Now this is going to shock some people. Number 4 is the original Jurassic World. Jurassic World, I think this movie is the most overrated film in this franchise. I don't hate this movie. I don't love it either. I just think it's decent. It's a decent romp. The problem with this movie is that it's just so similar to the first one. It's just so much like the first one. They basically succeed at what John Hammond tried to do in the first one. And then, oh, surprise, dinosaurs come and attack people. The only interesting part of this film really is the fact that they go into crossbreeding and stuff. I mean, I do quite like the characters, like Owen Grady, you know, and him training the raptors. I mean, it's kind of unrealistic, but it's interesting all the same. And Bryce Dallas Howard is clearly the best performer in it as Claire. You know, she's very good. You could have taken her nephews out of the story. I don't think her nephews needed to be in the film whatsoever, especially the older one who had a girlfriend, but he ended up sleazing on all the other ones. Like, he keeps looking at all the other girls. And what did they serve to the film? It just felt forced, because it feels like with every Jurassic film, there has to be a kid actor in there for some reason. But I won't deny, I think the movie's entertaining, but Vincent D'Onofrio's villain, pointless. Absolutely pointless. You know, like, why does he want to militarize the raptors? Like, his character is just, he's just so bland. Like, nothing. Like, this is not a bad movie, but it's not much of a step up from some of the other ones, because it doesn't offer anything we haven't seen before. It's just, I think it was the nostalgia thing, like, oh, we hadn't seen a Jurassic movie on screen for so long, that this kind of just captured people's attention. I don't get the appeal. I mean, I suppose the music is great by Michael Giacchino, and obviously the reuse of John Williams' score is great. If you love dino action, if you love B-movie monsters, then this is the movie for you. I'm not to say that this film doesn't have heart, but I just don't think it has enough heart, you know. It's a pleasant, fun experience. A slightly better version of Jurassic Park III, in my eyes. Maybe I need to watch it again, but, you know, again, there are aspects of the plot that are interesting, but it's not particularly amazing. Although the raptor, you know, chase at nighttime was very interesting, with the van. But yeah, oh, take the nephews out, for God's sake. But number 3 is the latest film, Jurassic World Dominion. Jurassic World Dominion is a very underrated film. I think this is the most underrated film of the series. I actually really enjoyed this film because it had a lot of heart and it had a lot of soul. I really, you know, liked the emotional scenes, especially surrounding the character of Maisie, who is very central to the narrative, especially with the origins of her DNA, which encompass a lot of the plot. Yes, both casts are in this movie, and it's great to see them cross over and coincide. But, you know, again, it's more of the same, you know, a lot of dino action, but I kind of like the whole, you know, the whole basis of the plot, and what Bayona were trying to do, and the villain, Lewis Dodgson, you know, kind of pathetic character, but the way that the actor plays him is kind of funny, I suppose. And I like the thrills and spills of this movie, like the whole sequence in Malta. Wow, that is fantastic. That is the best action scene of the series. That's so good. I mean, it's such a long action scene, but it works really well. And the characters of Claire and Owen becoming parents, that's really interesting. I like the way that they've matured over the 3 films they've been in, and how they have to parent Maisie. And I like Maisie. I think the way she's become such a teenager is fantastic. And also Henry Wu and his redemption is brilliant. And again, the old cast and the new cast joining together, it really does feel like a nice culmination with the gang. Well, I say that, but then the actual culmination of the movie itself, I have problems with. Like, I like the ending, but it's too open. This movie was marketed as the end of an era, but it doesn't really feel like that. It just feels like we've kind of concluded this installment, we're leaving it open for another one. I was dissatisfied with that. I thought, you know what, you needed to be braver with the ending, and braver and bolder. Because the ending, while it resolves what happens in that movie, in this particular film, it doesn't really bring the whole series round in a circle. It doesn't kind of really end things on a full stop. It kind of ends things, but leaves a slight door open for a sequel. Of course, money, money, money. You know, I understand that that's how these things work. Movies are, lucrative after all. But I don't know, just as a fan of the series, I just felt dissatisfied with the way it ended. But, it doesn't take away that it's a good movie. I enjoy it. It's good. And for its runtime, it actually moves along pretty well. It's got enough action and it's pretty brisk, and there's enough characters in the film to keep you, guessing. So, yeah, and it is the movie that connects all 6 movies together. So, for that reason, it's this high up. But it's not any higher because it does have some problems. Also, like with the whole locusts thing, that was kind of unnecessary. Number 2 is the 5th film, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. This movie is so underrated. I don't understand why people hate this film. I'm not saying Fallen Kingdom is perfect. It really isn't. But I really liked it because I liked the way that it added the empathetic angle for the dinosaurs. Yes, the villains were a bit shit and all they wanted to do was kind of market the dinosaurs and make profit out of them. And okay, that's a very lazy motivation, I will admit that. But all the stuff surrounding Maisie and her identity was very interesting. And the fact that, that we kind of got hints towards Blue's DNA as well, and discovering that this man, Lockwood, who was in association with John Hammond, and we went into kind of the origins of the creation of Jurassic Park, briefly. So that from that aspect, it was kind of interesting. And also the reason why I prefer this one is because it brought some of the suspense back. The fact that this is the most suspenseful film since the first one, although it's just not as good as the first one. Like that scene in the bedroom where Maisie is she's got her covers over and she's scared, and the Indoraptor comes in through the door and tries to claw her over the bed. That's terrifying. That is really terrifying. That brought back some of the same vibes of that kitchen scene in the first one. The 2 comedy characters, Franklin and Zia, they really didn't need to be in this movie. Why were they there? And the comedy was not very funny. The actual, the first act of the film when they're on the island trying to rescue the dinosaurs, that was kind of good. I'm glad that they wrapped that up quickly, because that could have gone on for ages, but they did a good job at condensing that to the bare minimum of what they needed. And there's quite a lot of action in this film, and I really do like the action and everything. And I like Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard as well. They're very good in their roles as Claire and Owen. I do have to, say about the Indoraptor, it's okay, but it is basically the same as the Indominus Rex. It's just a raptor version. It's like T-Rex DNA and raptor DNA. Well, that's what the Indominus Rex was. It's the same thing. There are some pretty gruesome, and suspenseful death scenes, but I won't reveal them in case you haven't seen the movie. But I like Fallen Kingdom. It's a good, solid entry to the series, and it's, for me, the best since the first one, because it has some of that Jurassic suspense as well as the dino action. And again, they tried to do something different, especially with the ending, where I know it's controversial. Some people have problems with the ending, but I actually like the ending because it opened up a lot of possibilities. The fact that dinosaurs are now in this world, and Maisie had to make that choice of whether to let them die or free them, and the fact that because she's a clone, she could relate to the fact that these dinosaurs are kind of manufactured. They're not as natural as you might think. So that, from that logic and that argument, I think it's interesting that Maisie let them go, and I actually like that decision. And it's nice to have Ian Malcolm in the film as well, but he does make good points of we're causing our own extinction here by doing all this. Welcome to Jurassic World. You've brought back the dinosaurs. It's your own fault. But of course, the best movie in the series is, you knew the score. It was the first one. Of course, it's going to be the first one. Who else doesn't rate the first one as number 1? The original Jurassic Park is awesome. I love this film. I think it's a really, really excellent film. It's an intelligent film. With the ideas of how they brought the dinosaurs back, the science behind it is really interesting. The build-up with the characters and setting up everybody up, like Alan Grant, Ian Malcolm, Ellie Sattler, John Hammond. And then when we get to the second half, the dino action feels earned. It feels like the suspense has been built up enough, and you can enjoy the ride. And for that reason, it's a classic. And of course, that phenomenal soundtrack is just superb. I mean, one of the best scenes in cinema history is the Welcome to Jurassic Park, with that incredible music. And I know the CG is dated now, but at the time, wow, pretty impressive stuff. And I was lucky enough to see Jurassic Park in 4DX in the cinema in lockdown. with one of my best friends. I mean, I don't care for 4DX, but he's a fan of it. But we went to see Jurassic Park, and it was brilliant on the big screen. My God, I could see why people would have loved it back in the day on the big screen. So, yeah, I love this film, and I like the characters. All the human characters are really well done. The kids aren't as interesting, particularly the girl Lex, who does scream quite a lot, but you know, you can understand why she's screaming. It's just a little bit irritating at times. It is a great film, and it's a lot of fun. Really intriguing, you know, scientific explanation for the dinosaurs, and you know, it's a great 2 hours. It really is, and it will definitely, you know, it definitely stands as the king of this series without question. So that's my ranking of the Jurassic films. What's your ranking? Please leave your comments down below and your list down below. If we disagree, we will agree to disagree in a polite and civil manner. No hostility, please. Just to recap, my list is number 6, The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Number 5, Jurassic Park 3. 4, Jurassic World. 3, Jurassic World Dominion. 2, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And number 1, Jurassic Park. So, yeah, that's my list. Thank you very much all for watching this video. Please hit the like and subscribe button for more rankings and more reviews and more content like this. And stay tuned next time for more reviews in the future. And what are your hopes for the future of this franchise? Because, well, clearly it's going to continue, whether we like it or not. As for me, I would have been happy to see Dominion be the last one, but, oh well, money. So, yeah, let me know down below. And until next time, I'm Mr. TARDIS11. Thank you for watching. See ya. Bye for now.